Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Denver Bronco Roundup, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports Network. And of course, our sponsor is the amazing Morgan Trinkets. Man, I'm still riding high off that mile-high win, man, over the Las Vegas Raiders, man. I don't know about all of you, been, sporting the orange and blue as much as I possibly can. I know Albert probably is the mile-high Dutchie, but it's been so long since I talked to him. I got to make sure he's still a Broncos fan. Albert, how you doing, man?
I'm doing excellent, and we should all be excited because a free game win streak, that is excellent, and we are much better than most of us have expected. So a lot of us had already in a negative area, but right now we are above 500, I believe, and so that is excellent, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Above 500, 3-game win streak. Albert's still a Broncos fan. We've been having some technical difficulties. If anybody can pinpoint if we have anybody in particular that's having issues, we couldn't figure it out before we went live. So apologize if there's any delay or anything like that. But with no further delay, got to get over to the Rocket Man, see if he's still riding high off of this Las Vegas Raiders victory, over the Las Vegas Raiders. How you doing, Trevor?
Doing well, yeah. I mean, I just still riding high. I loved how the Broncos progressed throughout the game. They continue to get better on both sides of the ball. Really stopped the Raiders running game, and I love what I'm seeing from the running back room. One in particular guy, Mr. Javonte Williams, I thought he was hitting the holes a lot better in this game, and they were there, and he was taking his time and making sure they were there, and they were there for him. So, very excited for that, and why not be excited? This is a win. This is a divisional win. It's about time to get a win against the Raiders, and it's a culture, setting win for sure. So I can't wait to break it down, though.
Absolutely. I got to get to everybody that's jumping in here, man. We got the posse hopping on a Tuesday evening. Patrick Wiltsey coming in here super early, saying aloha, boys, and Paul was jumping in right after saying aloha to Patrick. So good evening, Patrick. Good evening, Paul. Nice to see you both. Boy, who else? What else we got going on here? We got Paul's really excited that Dutchie is on the broadcast, man. It's been too long since we've seen Dutchie. And then we got Graham coming in saying, Keith, Trevor, Dutchie, yeah, 3 of the 4 horsemen, not too bad. And Roy's pointing that out as well. He's saying, ooh, almost tried to delete his comment. He says, hey there, horsemen, time to get kicking with the posse and the DVR. Absolutely. Graham's wanting to make it 4, and we're all excited about that. Absolutely, Graham. And Pearl's checking in over from Morgan Trinket, saying hello to everybody. Hello, Pearl. How you doing? Got to get to Michael Ronquillo. Michael Ronquillo's in here dropping stars, saying good evening, Keith, Albert, Trevor, and go Bo Broncos. Bo Broncos in that offense was what was it, 27 of the 34 points, 28 of the 34 points. They were 27 of the 34. That's what it was. They were in charge of only 7 points coming off of that defense. A nice outing by this offense as well. Who else we got in here? We lost Albert, but Albert will be back, I'm sure. Michael Ronquillo just getting us up to speed. He says the Broncos are 3.5 point underdogs against the Chargers at Empower Field at Mile High. Albert's saying he'll be right back. All good. Trevor, riding high off of this Raiders victory that we just had at the Mile High City, Empower Field at Mile High, as Michael is pointing out. You went back, you looked, you had a second eye on it. What things stood out to you in this win?
I mean, I just thought before the Pat Surtain interception, I thought the Raiders kind of did whatever they wanted offensively. I didn't think this Broncos defense, it just didn't seem like they were quite ready to play yet. I thought it took the Pat Surtain kind of interception, a big spark from somebody, offensively or defensively, to get this team going. And beforehand, the Raiders were getting whatever they wanted. Denver was missing tackles, they were missing in coverage. And the Raiders were able to run the ball, it seemed like, pretty early on in this game. But after that Pat Surtain interception, I know we spoke on this on Sunday, but, man, it really was a big difference maker in this game. And really, I think it helped turn out the outcome of this game, of course, being a Broncos win, and help kind of maybe wake up the Broncos a little bit. I really seen that enough. And, it was great to see. I thought throughout the game, Denver was much better running the football. And again, Javonte Williams, I mean, if we had to pick an MVP for this game, Mr. Javonte Williams is my MVP. Not only did he lead this team in rushing yards, but led this team in the passing game as well. And just much better job seeing the holes that were there and giving to him, patient and waiting for those holes to kind of open up. It really helped out, I think, this offense as the game kind of transpired and got deeper into the game. But what I really like is also, Keith, defensively from this Denver Broncos defense is they took away the Raiders' running game, and it really played right into the Denver Broncos' hands, because what do the Broncos do best? Getting after the quarterback and in the passing game. That's what they're better at. That's their strength. So they played, Gardner Minshew and the Raiders' offense played right into the Broncos' strengths. They were able to get to Gardner Minshew. He made, quite a couple mistakes in there, and then there was obviously led to him being benched. So, as the game transpired, just both sides of the ball, they were, got a lot better, and it was great to see. Big time momentum game coming out of this game. Not only just because it's a rival game, but it's just also because of how much better this team got as the game transpired.
Very good, buddy. I know that Albert's trying to restart. I'm still having a few issues hearing a couple of things that you're saying, so hopefully everyone's hearing okay. Please let us know if we're having any issues out there. But I'm going to get back to hopefully this doesn't have anything to do with it. Paul saying Mick glitchy, but I feel a little bit glitchy this evening. Michelle Knopper is coming in, and at the same time, Albert Knopper is coming in. But Michelle's saying, "Evening, gents. Love the play action, and now we're 3 in a row." Good friend Jeremy Dressler jumping in as well, as saying, "Sup, fellas, go Broncos." Good to see you, Jeremy. Always nice to see you as well. I know that Albert's always nice seeing Michelle in here in the chat as well. So Jeremy's saying, "Love the game," and FTR. Yeah, FTR, and hopefully we'll be able to say FTR one more time this season. Should only be one more time. Shouldn't be 3. Graham's just pointing out, talking about Javonte and his running game, and something that Trevor just got done talking about, saying, "I tweeted at Kyle Brown about Williams' hard running," and he gave it a like. Jody, the fourth horseman, coming in and just giving us reminding us that Bo Nix, this was probably Bo Nix's best passing game as of so far, in his opinion. So that was his takeaway from looking back at this game. But I want to get over to Albert. I want to get his thoughts as well. You went back, you looked at this game. What stood out to you in this game, Albert?
What stood out to me that Bo Nix is the fix, and he is going to be better and better and better every game, and we have seen it happen. He is a little bit of a slow start. I think that's what part of the problem is. But if he can get up to snuff really quick with a quick game, I think we have the QB for the future. And I truly believe that. And we have seen it. If Russell Wilson would have been here, we would have lost this game. Because he would have been sacked multiple times more than Bo Nix. Bo Nix, he sees some danger coming to him. Instead of running back, he runs towards the danger. And how many missed tackles have we seen because of his athleticism? And it was surprising. We could have been 42 points. That one missed goal, missed the drop ball. Pretty much was in the basket in the end zone. Pretty much in the basket. And that was a 45 yarder. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with this game, and we only going to see him better and better. And it also we saw it on the sideline, the passion between Peyton and Nix. But guess what? They had a little bit outing and a couple of plays again, and they were pretty much hugging each other.
Yep.
I think that symbiotic relationship that they have is excellent.
I agree. Completely different relationship than what we saw with one Russell Wilson and Sean Payton from just a year ago. I guess we need to still get rid of a little bit of Ferris Bueller and one Bo Nix, whatever that happens to mean. But Trevor, I'm gonna shift it back to that Javonte Williams. We saw, of course, in this game with Tyler Bidet being out. This was a 2 running back game rather than a 3 running back game. It gave more touches to everybody, especially Mr. 1 Javonte Williams. Do you think we need to stay to a 2-back running game type of scheme rather than a 3-back in order to get the touches, in order to get, a little bit of feed me going as far as the running backs are concerned, especially 1 Javonte Williams?
Yeah, I wouldn't go against, you want to give more carries to Javonte. I wouldn't go back to the 3 running back kind of rotation that this team had. I would just stick with the Javonte Williams and Jaleel McLaughlin kind of pairing out there. I would try to feed Javonte right now, though. And I know I've been hard on Javonte, and I was earlier on in the year because he wasn't seeing the holes that are there. He wasn't being patient enough, in my opinion. Now, when I go back and watch film, with being much more patient and hitting the right holes at the right time when the blocks are there. So I think you ride the hot hand, and I think Javonte Williams is that hot hand right now. I think he proved that in this game, and I think that was a big reason why you've seen the passing game open up a little bit more from Bo Nix because of how Javonte Williams was able just to kind of get out there and just make a difference in this running game. So it really helped Bo Nix, and yeah, I think that Javonte Williams, you ride the hot hand with him. I would just stick with Javonte, mix a little bit of Jaleel McLaughlin in there, but Javonte, I thought he even played better than Jaleel McLaughlin this game. McLaughlin a little bit kind of ran to the back of his offensive lineman a little bit in this game, but Javonte, we're seeing, I think, a different Javonte Williams the past couple games.
Albert, well said, buddy. I think Javonte is starting to get his head of steam. He's been increasingly getting better, and I think this game was kind of like a little bit of a breakout game. Keep in mind, it might not have been like, hey, he had 150 yards rushing. No, but he was the leading receiver. He was the leading rusher in this game. So Javonte did kind of have a little bit of a breakout game, started feeling his mojo. I'm excited for what he has going on, especially as we move forward. Paul said early, he's like, man, Keith, I did my research before this game. I'm going to start this one over with Albert. Inside linebacker, Levon Bailey, moved to the 53-man roster. Cam Fleming, offensive tackle, a name we all know, we've heard of before. He's been playing for us for the last couple of years on and off, has been signed to the practice squad. McGlinchey, Estime, and Mathis are all eligible to come off of IR next week. Albert, I'm going to go to you. Pick one. What was the biggest move, in your opinion, in all of those and those coming?
The biggest move, I think, Forsythe, and I think that Forsythe is playing center.
Oh no, I meant of what Paul was saying. Levon Bailey, Cam Fleming, McGlinchey, Estime, and Mathis coming off of IR next week.
Next week, I think McGlinchey would be the biggest one, in my opinion, coming off IR, because we need that protection on the right side, and McGlinchey can provide that, and he has been missed. I think Alex Palchevsky did an excellent job for being a rookie, and yeah, did he have some misses? Of course, but if you face Max Crosby, even McGlinchey, even the best right tackles are expected to have the misses there, because Max Crosby, that is just an animal in there. And if you don't double team him, Max Crosby has pretty much you might as well leave him unblocked because that is what Max Crosby is. So yeah, I think McGlinchey coming
McGlinchey.
back as McGlinchey. Yeah,
Yeah.
we call him McGlinchey now.
McGlinchey, yeah, McGlinchey, as somebody else said it a little bit later in the comments.
McGlinchey.
McGlinchey, a big piece of this, of course, Palczewski, I think he was playing amazing out there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he ends up leaving this game with a high ankle sprain. We'll see how he shows up on this injury report. One of the reasons I think that Cam Fleming was brought back. I'll bring it back over to Trevor. Your thoughts, Lavon Bailey. Man, we've been waiting for him to maybe be moved up to the 53. He's been playing really well. Cam Fleming, a guy we all know. Estime, I know if I scroll in the comments, I might have Jody chiming off on that one, coming back off of IR. Of course, McGlinchey, like Albert just talked about, and of course, last but not least, one Damari Mathis coming off of IR. What do you like about? Which one do you like of those?
Yeah, I think you gotta, the biggest addition to come back to this team would be Mike McGlinchey, just because again, I know people don't want to hear that, but Palczewski, while he's played well, you still have McGlinchey locked up for quite a while. You're going to have to make it work with him. Remember, they added void years to his contract this past offseason, so it makes it a little bit more tougher for them to move off of McGlinchey. They got to get McGlinchey going and come back. Actually, I think McGlinchey was playing pretty well when he was healthy this year, early on this year. I just think Palczewski, has played maybe a little bit better, maybe the same, quite a bit. I think you can kind of make that case. But McGlinchey for me would be that guy that I think that would be a big add to this offense. And Palczewski kind of went down the other day, so we shall see how that injury kind of came back and what that's looking like going forward. But because the rest of those guys, SMA, and even Lavon Bailey, I mean, those guys would be, or Lavelle Bailey, should say, excuse me, those guys would be coming back in a rotation. So you don't know how that would transpire with what you have. McGlinchey, no doubt, I think would be your starting right tackle, just based upon what his contract and how much this team's invested in him long term.
With Palczewski being out, with McGlinchey being out, Paul's saying, who starts at right tackle?
Oh.
Would it be Frank Crum, Mr. Trevor Salzman? What are your thoughts as we maybe try to rush some guys towards a start, or go with a guy that's been, around since training camp?
Yeah, I would not start Frank Crum. That's a big drop off in my opinion. He struggled in the preseason against 3s and 4s. You're going to get up against starters. I'm not sure, that Frank Crum. I don't think it's fair to put Frank Crum right now, because I know you're going through injury problems and I get that, but he's just so raw. He needs time to develop. I just think that putting him out there right now might be setting him up to fail unless you put a blocking tight end on the other side of him to help him out. But again, can he hold his own? I have concerns about Mr. Frank Crum being in there. I think there's some upside in him, but right now, I just think it's too soon to put him out there on the field and expect him to be successful.
Oops. Yeah, well, I guess two people got it. Jody's saying it's going to be Matt Parrott that will start at right tackle. Michael Ronquillo agreeing with that as well, who has not looked all that bad. I got to say hello, though, as well as Big E Bronco just chimed in over on YouTube saying, how's everybody doing tonight? Good to see you, Big E Broncos. We're just talking a little bit about, this last game, some of the injuries that we end up coming out with, and one Alex Palczewski, and unfortunately just right off of the heels of Mike McGlinchey still being on IR, getting injured himself, kind of puts us in a little bit of a predicament. But Matt Parrott, he's come in. He's done really well in the jumbo packages, and now he'll have to slide a little bit more inside and pick up that task. And that I think that is our best option at this point. Cam Fleming, I think, is a great swing type of tackle that we can utilize as well. It's something, he's a guy that's been with the Broncos and knows. Just a little side note, Caden Davis, a wide receiver that I've been following ever since he was undrafted to the Denver Broncos, went to the Arizona Cardinals, Detroit Lions. He also got signed back to the practice squad as well. I think that he's shown out enough that he keeps getting at least brought back to that level. So shout out to Caden Davis. So I don't even know where to go after this. Albert, I want to go over to you, though. As we've seen this wide receiver group start to step up. I forget the exact numbers. I think it was 12 and 11. Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims basically getting as far as snaps in this last game. So a little bit more diversity there. The one question I have is Devon Vele, who has come back as well, is no longer injured, was elevated. He didn't get an opportunity. And I want to get your thoughts on this really quick. So one, Devon Vele. Two, Greg Dulcich didn't get the healthy start. It was one Lucas Kroll instead. So Lucas Kroll, Devon Vele. I'm going to let you go off on that for just a second, Albert.
I think they wanted to be careful with both of those players, Dulcich and Vele. If you bring them back in too quick, they might aggravate the injury again, and I think that's why they wanted to put him on the active roster for Vele. But with the way they saw it was going, just didn't need him, I think. And that's why he just stayed on the sideline. And yeah, Dulcich, he has been struggling with injuries. And if he is a little bit limpy, then leave him on the sideline. Let him stay out of the field and recover, because this is a game, it could have gone both ways. And they saw, it went all well. And I think the tight end that we had did pretty well. Not Kroll, but the other one. He blocked Atkins. He blocked really well.
Troutman.
He helped with and Troutman, and they helped with Max Crosby. I think that was the better way to go anyway. And by the way, Mims, we need to see him coming more out of the backfield, because the NFL is not ready for his speed. And we have seen it a couple times now, and I think they have to take that opportunity a little bit more. Both McLaughlin in the backfield and Mims coming through. Those two with speed, I think a lot of teams will not be ready for that.
Paul's pointing out, he says no reason for to cut Dulcich, but someone will eventually take him off the practice squad. If he gets all the way down to the practice squad, that's certainly a possibility. Might be like an Albert O type of trade in the future for one Greg Dulcich, where you're getting back a late round draft pick for one Greg Dulcich. I could see that in the future if you really wanted to just move on for him. Trevor, I wanted to go, I guess, a little bit different direction. Let's jump over to this defensive side of the game, because, man, we had a defensive a game just going on. They set this offense up with great opportunities. I think it was 4 out of the 6 drives were less than 50 yards needed in order to score for the Denver Broncos. Some of that was some return yards, as Tremon Smith and Marvin Mims had good games, but the Denver Broncos defense, they just continue to play at an elite level. I know that I said, hey, what jumped out to you after you went back and watched that last game and we went over to offense, but I'm going to go back over to the defense. What jumped out on defense when you went back and looked at everything?
Yeah, like in the first half, I mean, the Broncos couldn't stop the run very well at all, and Raiders were just running up and down the field out on them, and then they were getting whatever they wanted in the passing game. There were just guys that just were missing reads as far as covering some of these wide receivers, but I think that transpired again in the first half, but towards before that Pat Surtain interception happened, it wasn't very good for this defense. It wasn't looking very good for this defense, just to say. But when that Pat Surtain interception happened, it really kind of turned over, and this defense started waking up and they started making plays. I want to give credit though to, and I haven't heard this anywhere else, but on that Pat Surtain interception, the one Mr. Gardner Minshew threw, I want to give credit to Mr. Jonah Ellis. He should get credit for that as well. He put pressure on Minshew. And if he wasn't there and didn't read that very well and didn't put pressure on Gardner Minshew to throw that ball, I don't think we're seeing Pat Surtain get that interception. Also made a block downfield and blocked Gardner Minshew. I know that he was flagged for that. That wasn't a penalty, in my opinion. That would have been a weak call if they would have called that. I want to, though, give praise to Mr. Jonah Ellis, because he deserves credit for that interception as well, for what he did to make that interception happen. But no, I thought, again, as the game transpired, Really like what I've seen from this defensive line in this edge rusher room, getting after Gardner Minshew, taking away in that running game, and playing to their strengths. That's what they did, play to their strengths, and it really helped this defense and this football team in general because you've seen 2 turnovers because of it. Well, actually, yeah, 3 turnovers to say. The 2 interceptions for Pat Surtain and then Riley Moss interception as well. So, it played right. The Raiders played right into the Denver Broncos' hands defensively, and again, love seeing it. And the halftime adjustments, I think, was a key factor in this game as well on both sides of the ball. But the defense definitely got better as the game transpired.
I don't even usually like to bring up the name, but Albert, I got to get your thoughts on this. No-fly zone was probably one of the best we ever saw. Probably one of the best the NFL has ever seen. Are we approaching a no-fly zone type of defense with what we've seen through now 5 weeks with the Denver Broncos?
Oh, you're muted out.
I would definitely say so. I think it is even better with the no-fly kamikaze zone because they are going after the quarterback, and because of that, no-fly zone is happening, and they're really at it. And because of that, how many pass rushes have we had? 60%, pretty much 60% of all the defensive plays. There's a pass rush there, and hurrying the quarterback. How many hits have we had on the quarterbacks? That is excellent. And during the draft, and we have to give the Raiders some kudos. They have Max Crosby. He is one of the top edge rushers in the field, I believe. Right now, maybe even the best one. But they're also going to have one of the best tight ends. Brock Bowers is going to be a weapon for the Raiders, and that we have to deal with for a long time. And he is going to be better and better. He might be becoming the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When that game first started, it was a little bit scary for me. This Denver Broncos, as Trevor, you were just pointing out, this Denver Broncos defense didn't look all that good. We were on the cusp of going down 17-3 when all of a sudden a touchdown happens off of a Mr. Pat Surtain interception, runs it all the way back for a touchdown. Thank goodness that flag was picked up. I would have been livid if it hadn't been. Made the right call there. And that did end up flipping the script for the Denver Broncos and this Denver Broncos D. All of a sudden, it seemed like it locked down. Well, obviously it did. Really the only points that were scored in this game were late. They were garbage points, in my opinion, as the defense went into a prevent style defense, and they went down the field and they got an additional 2-point conversion. So got them to the 18, but up until that point, it was scary. And like Trevor, I go back to you. Taking Gardner Minshew, their starting quarterback, out of the game. The Raiders are currently in a we don't know who our QB1 is at this point. A lot of that just has to happen to do with this particular game because Gardner Minshew was kind of the confirmed number 1 coming in. So amazing game by the Denver Broncos. You always love going into Raiders week and then coming out with the confidence that we did, because there was a lot of things that continued to get better. We talked about Javonte Williams. I think Bo Nix continues to make steps. I don't think he's there yet. You know what I mean? He's not an elite quarterback in the NFL. We're not going to put him up on that. I'm not going to put him up on that pedestal yet, but he continues to make steps. And the overall attitude, confidence, what he goes out there with every single game, that's not all that easy itself. Being a rookie in this league, going up against grown men. Simple as that. The guy goes out there and he brings it every single game, and I think he continues to improve. So this defense, thank you, Vance Joseph. High pressure defense. These cornerbacks, these safeties are playing out of their mind. These linebackers that we were all kind of scared about are stepping up when needed. Just a great overall game versus the Las Vegas Raiders, and excited for what this team is doing. I'm also excited, guys, as we hit the 30-minute mark about Morgan Trinkets. Morgan Trinkets is your headquarters for Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, and Estate Gold at wholesale prices. They were once a nationwide company, but now they're just in your backyard. Northern Colorado, Southern Wyoming, 33 years experience. I'll tell you what, if you're looking for any of those items, you are all set. You head over to Morgan Trinkets on Facebook. I'll drop the link here in just a second. Reach out to Pearl. She has an immense inventory. If you don't see it on the website or on the Facebook site, just reach out. She'll find the right piece for you. She transacts through PayPal. Any purchase over $50 shipped absolutely free. On top of that, she likes to do her shows, doing shows even now with this nice weather we're all having. Why not? So Northern Colorado, Southern Wyoming, check out what she's doing out there on Morgan Trinkets Facebook page. And if you go out there, see her at a show, all major credit cards are accepted and you walk away with your purchase that day. So check out Morgan Trinkets, fantastic sponsor of ours. And I'll tell you what, many in the posse, very, very happy customers. And some of those of us on screen maybe even as well. So check out Morgan Trinkets. I'll drop the link and check them out because I'm like I said, they're absolutely amazing. I'm going to get back to the comments really quick. He says Paul comes in and says, I had Vance back this offseason. I liked him as our head coach. Nice, man. Hey, Paul, good for you, man. There's not a lot of people that are willing to go out there, say that. But now, as Trevor's been pointing out, I think people are coming around to that idea, and he might actually be in contention for maybe a head coaching job this offseason. Big E Bronco, and I've heard this a lot, guys, so we might as well address this topic right off. Bo Nix needs more help around him. A good tight end would help, and somebody else besides Cortland Sutton. Cortland is getting doubled and triple teamed every down. Well, I don't know if I've seen triple on Cortland, but yeah, I understand where you're coming from. He's getting a lot of attention. Albert, I'll go to you on this one first, man. The weapons that we've been talking about. We have Marvin Mims. We have Troy Franklin. We just brought in Reynolds. We have, our tight ends that we hope to step up, whether it be Parham or Kroll or maybe one day Dulcich. But according to Big E Bronco, we're short on talent when it comes to receivers. Do we need to go out there and get somebody? And where would you go if you were a GM of the Denver Broncos right now?
I don't think we have to go anywhere. We have a good receiving core. The only thing is they have dropped passes too much. I think we are still in top 3 or 4 with drop passes. They need to get more sticky fingers. And if we would have seen maybe 4 or 5 touchdowns more if they had not dropped passes. And so I think we're good with what we have. We have the weapons, and they can all do it. And yeah, I don't think we need different weapons, and we need to get Dulcich more involved. When he is on the field, we need to get him more involved. Right now, there are not many plays designed for tight ends, and we have not. And if we do that, then it will look a little bit better as well. And that is my opinion.
Albert, one of the few out there still giving one Greg Dulcich, Mr. Greg Dulcich, an opportunity to be a key piece in this receiving core for the Denver Broncos. I know that a lot of people have already checked out. They're ready. They're ready for Kroll. They're ready for Parham. They're ready for something to happen. And a lot of times they're pointing at one Greg Dulcich as maybe being the issue. But I'm going to flip it all the way right back to the main question and go right back to Trevor. Trevor, do we need to get more help around one Bo Nix? Does it need to be a tight end? Does it need to be a wide receiver? And do you have any names right off the top? One name that was floated out there, I'll throw the comment up there, was one Dawson Knox, as the Buffalo Bills are pretty well loaded in the tight end room. So I want to get your thoughts though, Trevor.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's a little too soon right now for the Broncos to make a move. I mean, the trade deadline is November 5th. There's still a little bit of time to make a trade. I wouldn't panic right now and make one quite yet. I wonder if we're not going to see a rotation of the tight end room a little bit. We've seen Kroll this week. We've seen Dulcich in the past. Maybe Parnham comes up from the practice squad as well. I wonder if they're going to start doing that kind of tight end rotation to see what works and see who sticks and has that connection with Bo Nix. Leading up to the trade deadline at least. I mean, should this Denver Broncos team be buyers? I mean, it's possible, but again, I'm not quite ready to make that move just yet. I think we need to see Bo Nix kind of get some more connections with Cortland Sutton and even like you said, Keith, Devon Bailey needs to see the field. There's many different weapons around, maybe not proven weapons quite yet, but there's still weapons out there and still talent in this wide receiver room. I think there's talent in that tight end room, just not quite been there yet. So before you go out there and trade for somebody, because that's going to take time for that to marinate as well. As soon as you go out and make a trade, it's going to take a little bit for that to get them and Bo Nix and to kind of get that connection going and for them to learn this offense. But for me, I would just kind of stick with what you have right now and worry about what you have in-house before I go outside, and try to look for a trade. But, we'll see how these next couple of weeks go before, we kind of decide, are the Denver Broncos buyers or are they sellers, or do they not make a move at all? The price tag for some of these other wide receivers like Amari Cooper, I don't see the Devontae Adams thing happening here in Denver. They're not going to trade him within the AFC West. But some of those big time names, they're going to be expensive, and I just don't want the Broncos just to give up draft picks quite yet. Let's see how these next couple of weeks pan out first.
Yeah, Michael, he's right on board. He's saying we need a tight end like George Kittle, like Mark Andrews, like Travis Kelce, and etc. And Pearl saying, good luck getting one of those calibers. You have to draft it. And that kind of brings me back to kind of where you were talking about. Heck, even Albert was talking about, I think, as well. And I'm going to be right on board as with the two of you. I just don't want to spend the capital. I don't want to go out there and spend draft picks. We've done that way too often, and to varied success, I'll just say, in the past. We're finally getting to the point where we have draft picks, where we have money to spend, and we're sitting in a really good position coming up not only next year but the year after. If we don't go crazy, it's going to be a phenomenal year. We have the opportunity to continue to build around this quarterback and do it at the pace that this quarterback is growing at. If this quarterback was, I don't know, if he was like Brock Purdy, with the 49ers and the way that he was looking with the pieces that they had around him, you're like, we just need one more piece. I get it. If you're talking about Jaden Daniels right now and the way that he's looking at with Washington, and you're saying, I just need one more piece, I kind of get that. CJ Stroud last year. But when you're kind of letting things marinate, using Trevor's words, and working towards that perfect recipe, sometimes it takes a little bit of time. John Elway would have been foolish to go out and get him all the weapons his first year. Second year, third year, fourth year, it made a lot more sense. Guy came into his own and started really producing. I think that's a similar trend that we should expect and see, or at least I would like, from the Denver Broncos when it comes to this team. So, gentlemen, Chargers are going to be coming up. We'll touch on this just a little bit as well. We're going to have a full breakdown when it comes to Friday night, because if you don't know, and I don't say it enough, A, like, B, share, and C, subscribe to all our channels, Denver Bronco Roundup or the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. We appreciate you all. And we'll be going live every Tuesday and every Friday. So that Friday is kind of our pregame show. You need to be checking that out. We go Tuesday, Friday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So a lot of you guys know that. A lot of you gals know that. I figure I'd just throw that out there. We also go live right after our Sunday game. But I did want to at least peek a little bit, towards this Chargers game. Albert, I'll head over to you first on this one. Jim Harbaugh was brought in and he was going to be the savior of this Chargers team. They started out the gate looking pretty good. Now we have a little bit of a hobbled Justin Herbert coming in, and not riding nearly as high as what they used to be. So talk about this game as we welcome the Chargers into Mile High, and just maybe just some general expectations that you may have heading into this game, sir.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be an exciting game. I think the defense of the Chargers is maybe a little bit less, so we might see a little bit more scoring. And from the Broncos side, so I sure hope that. And yeah, the defense, if they do the same thing as what they did with Aaron Rodgers and in the last couple games, it's going to be easy pickings. But yeah, they should not rest on that. They should prepare fully for it, and that it's because it could be one of those little trap games that the Broncos always get into one of those, and hopefully this is not going to be that one. They should be able to win it. Herbert is a great quarterback. He has a big arm. But yeah, if you rush him a little bit too often and you hit him a couple times, he's going to be shy.
Yeah, I could see that, especially with the injuries right now. He's probably going to be hurting just a little bit. I swear, I'm having things comments delete. I have it over on my phone over here. I want to bring this up. I'll bring it up to Trevor because Michael came in. He dropped some stars. We always appreciate when people can come in, give a little bit extra like that as well. Weird how things aren't syncing up. But he came in and he wanted to just maybe comment on this really quick. Linebacker Devin White, long time, well-respected linebacker in this league, was released from the Eagles today. And he just wanted our thoughts on that. Maybe thoughts in general on one Devin White. And I don't know if we're in the market necessarily for a linebacker of that caliber, but I'll let you comment on that as well, Trevor.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be against it completely, but we have to keep this in mind that the Broncos also just picked up 2 inside linebackers a couple weeks back, Mr. Kawan Alexander and Zach Cunningham, that are still on the practice squad. So if you sign Devin White, what does that look like for him? And obviously you lost Singleton, so White's always had upside, but he just never panned out. There's a reason why the Eagles released him. He just wasn't working out there. I don't think the Broncos are going to be interested. I wouldn't expect that. I think that there's other they're focused on what they have in house right now, and maybe get a Jonathan Cooper contract extension done, not to kind of go away from Devin White a little bit, but no, I don't expect the Broncos to be interested in Devin White. I think that they like what they have right now, and I want to see what Zach Cunningham and Quan Alexander have to offer. Before I'm ready to go out there and get another inside linebacker like Devin White. Again, he just struggled up to this point.
Kenny Kirkpatrick saying, go get Devin White, no brainer. And Kurt Valente coming in saying, boys, time to be buyers, need a tight end. So he's all in on trying to get that tight end. Maybe that guy that we we're talking about up in Buffalo one, Dawson Knox, as a possibility being out there. I bring up both Kenny and Kurt because, of course, well, they're part of the K&K Sports Show, our cousins on the East Coast. I'm telling you what, if you haven't checked out the K&K Sports Show, you are missing out. They are fantastic, amazing podcast going on over there. You got Graham hanging out behind the scenes on some of those podcasts. But you got Kurt, you got Kenny, and you got all the guys over there. Check them out. New York Giants, Denver Broncos, General Sports Show, baseball, all in high school sports, wits and wagers. I'm telling you what, I don't know if they sleep. So, that being said, so good to see you guys. Appreciate it so much. Kurt Valente is all in on one Devin White. Michaels must be on board too. He's saying, thanks, Kenny. He's on board with one Devin White. At one point, I would have been. Sign me up and sign me up now. I was looking for one other comment, and maybe I'll just find it as I scroll through. But this defense, if I want to spend any place, it's not going to be on defense.
Yeah.
This defense has been phenomenal. And it seems like no matter knock on wood, whoever we plug and play into these positions has done a phenomenal job. So, if Justin Sternad needs to come out and play that linebacker position, yeah, no worries. Just roll him on out there. He'll just plug and play. It doesn't matter if you just lost Alex Singleton. It's amazing what this Denver Broncos defense has been able to do. Lots of love went out to PS2 on this last game. Riley Moss, congratulations on his interception. I still say when it comes to Jaquan McMillan, he's being undervalued right now, man.
Yeah.
If that guy was Damari Mathis for all the struggles that he had in the first couple of games last year, if he was out there looking like that, we'd be talking about a whole different Denver Broncos defense and how do we shore this all up. So I'm telling you what, if we're going to spend, it better be on offense. I'm a little bit worried about this offensive line right now, but I don't know if I want to spend big on an offensive line where we've already spent big. It's got to be running back, wide receiver, tight end. That's it. That's the only place that you can. It's going to be one of those weapons because I don't see where you'd spend it otherwise. But again, go ahead, buddy.
No, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to make a point on Justin Sternad really quick. Part of the reason he came back to Denver in the first place was not to play special teams. He wanted a chance to start. Well, now he's getting that opportunity. Are you going to put somebody else like Devin White out there in front of Justin Sternad? I don't think so. On top of that, you have two inside linebackers that are sitting on the practice squad, probably wanting a chance too. So just have to think about that when we're talking about adding another player, onto this team. Devin White probably would be a practice squad player right away. I don't think you're just signing him to the 53-man roster with some of the injuries you have in the offensive line and whatnot. And I agree with you as well, Keith. I don't think you want to spend on this defense right now. That's not the problem. I think if you're going to want to do anything, want to help out Bo Nix in this offense, it's, again, been a little bit inconsistent, up to this point in the season. You want to spend and use those assets smart, and I would use those on the offense side of the ball, not the defense side of the ball as of right now.
Paul, if you don't have this trademarked or if someone else doesn't, you should, man. I like that. The white shadow equals Moss, Sachs Allen. Love what's going on over there. I wanted to get back. Like I said, I was going to scroll back and find this comment, but I'll bring it to you, Albert, as we're starting to get near the end of our show. This defense is so stacked. We'll have contracts coming up this offseason. We won't be able to sign everybody. We have Nick Benito. We have Jonathan Cooper. We have Baron Browning. The question was earlier, as the trade deadline nears, do we try to trade one Baron Browning? What are your thoughts on that, buddy?
I would trade Baron Browning. He is, from all the years that he has been here, has he played 50% of the games? He hasn't. So if he is available, he is good. But that is a problem, the availability. And if you can get a nice third-round pick for him, yes, because we can do it without him. Is he a little bit more dangerous when he's on the field? Maybe. But that's really a maybe. With what we have right now, I think we're doing really well. And if they get to work a little bit more together, I think it's only going to get better. And if Browning is there, of course he takes snaps away from others. Why? Because right now I think we have a very hard team over there. Baron Browning already has missed 2 of the 3 games. So yeah, I don't think Baron Browning will be missed a lot.
Trevor, the second part of that question is, do you think we could get a third for a Baron Browning? A, would you move on? And B, what do you think the compensation would be?
Yeah, they're not getting a third-round pick for Baron Browning. I hate to say that, but again, he's just not been on the field. He has never played more than 9 games throughout his whole career up to this point. Very inconsistent being out in the field, and just when he's been out there, I don't think he's been that dominant. I think Jonathan Cooper, pretty much every time I've seen him, Jonathan Cooper, is dominating out there. Baron Browning, even when he's out there, he's not really dominating. Now, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have the skills to dominate, but if you can't stay healthy, it's a big concern. I don't think they're going to move him, I would say, and I don't think they're going to get anywhere near a third-round pick. You'd be lucky if you get maybe a 6th rounder, 5th rounder for him, and that's just being lucky. So I don't see them trading Baron Browning right now. But maybe a name to kind of keep an eye on is if you want to move somebody. For me, would be Mr. Josh Reynolds, because you have DeBele that you need to get some reps to. So I know drops have been an issue with Josh Reynolds, but if you want to get some of these young guys kind of implemented in this offense a little bit more, and speaking of with Vele, maybe that's something that you at least think about going forward. Again, you're not going to get much for Reynolds, but maybe kind of clear the air a little bit and get your young guys involved. That would be a move to at least think about going forward.
I just want to give a little bit of a love and a shout out. Rick's been in the comments over on YouTube quite a bit, but he says, I've never been to Denver, Colorado. I'd love to go. I got my nephew in Denver, Colorado right now. And Rick, being from Chicago, and I've visited Chicago. I've lived a little bit in Denver for a couple of years. You should get out to Denver if you get the opportunity, man. Find a cheap flight and go pick up a game at the end of the year on a ticket swap website maybe, and get it for cheap and have a good game. Have a good time in Denver. Visit your nephew. If I could give any advice, if that's in the cards, man, it's a great town. Got a lot of fun things that you can do there, and if you can stack a Denver Broncos game on top of it, that would be amazing. So, let's see. We got Paul's just chiming in with a little bit of some stats. Cooper 4 sacks. Allen 3, Benito 3. This team has just been eating from all over the place, and now it's like a race to see A, who gets to 10 sacks, and B, how many will there be? Because at this pace, everybody is still in contention for some sack leaders. Michael Ronquillo just chiming in, and I agree. When Devin White is healthy, he is an absolute beast. I 100% agree. I just can't do it. I can't do it right now, Michael. I don't want to invest into this room anymore. I think that we're doing pretty dang good. And if any place, I just want to put it on the offensive side of the ball right now. Michael Ronquillo, I think you're right on. 6th-round pick for Baron Browning will be likely. Yeah, maybe a late 5th for somebody from somebody as well. So, this game will be absolutely interesting. We'll be breaking it down a lot more, getting into the matchups, really getting a better idea of who the Chargers are, looking at some of their tape going forward. At least I know I will. Getting all prepped up for Friday. This has been a fantastic episode. It's nice to come in here, Trevor. It's nice to come in here, Albert, and be talking about a 3-game win streak, about being 3-2 and being second in the division, talking about just confidence in a team and the way that they're looking. Albert, it's been a fantastic episode, but it's been a fantastic 3 games now, going on 4. I want to give you a little bit of time before we get out of here. Talk about whatever you want, and then maybe say some goodbyes and start wrapping us up. We'll get out of here, buddy.
See, if we could pick up Devin White for a prove-it-year deal and for maybe $1 or $2 million, then why not try it? If he is healthy, and we have now seen what the Broncos can do team-wise and health-wise, they are in such better shape than we have been a couple of years ago. I think the new management over there in the health and strengthening division doing an excellent job. And so maybe that is what Devin White needs. And if we can get here and we get him cheap, then I would not be against it. But yeah, we also have we could use some help on the offensive side, and I do agree there. And it has been fantastic again. It has been 2 weeks that I've been on the show, but
We've missed you, Al. Everybody, we've missed Albert, the Mile High Dutchie. Oh my goodness, they just all run together, Albert. But I just wanted to tell you, man, I truly do miss you. Every single time we go live, I'm always hoping for a Mile High Dutchie, entry onto the screen or into the comments. I just miss the heck out of you, buddy. I know the posse does too. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, but just want to know you're loved and missed, buddy.
Yeah, it's good to be here, and I really miss it too when I'm not on the show. And yeah, I want to thank everybody who was in the chat, the posse, because as always, you make our lives so much easier and more interesting. And we come up with a game plan for the show oftentimes. But right now, if we only have one topic, that is all we need, because the posse is giving us all the topics. and we are so grateful for that. I want to thank Patrick, Paul, Graham, Roy, Pearl, Michael, Jeremy, Jody, Michelle, my lovely wife, Becky, Bronco, Scott, Rick Diaz, Leanna was in the show, Kenny and Kurt of the K&K show. Yeah, excellent guys. Keep it up, and we will keep it up as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Albert, he says, I miss my name being mentioned at the end of the show, says one Kenny Kirkpatrick. So when Albert's missing, then Albert does such an amazing job making sure that the posse is so well recognized. Albert, thank you very much for that, man. It's like I love everybody in the posse. I'm trying to do all this other stuff and trying to stay on topic in the whole 9 yards, and Albert just comes in and he takes care of us. Pearl's saying, great having you back, Albert, and giving big smiles. And of course, welcome back, Dutchie, coming in from Mr. One, Kenny Kirkpatrick as well. Such a great show, says one Michelle Knoppers. And yeah, Michelle, it's not just because of us on screen or these talking heads that you hear jamming out. It's because of you and the rest of the posse. But I got to get over to Trevor, get his final thoughts as we get out of here, and get some goodbyes from him as well.
No, I want to bring this comment up from Kenny really quick. I got to hit this really quick because I think some think that I don't want the Broncos to be buyers. No, all I'm saying is there's 4 games before the trade deadline. They don't have to make a move right now. Let's see how those games transpire before we're sitting here saying the Broncos are buyers. A lot can change in 4 games. I mean, no game in the NFL is an easy win. So let's just see. It's so early in the season. Let's just see where the Broncos end up in 4 weeks, and then we can assess. I'm not against them being buyers completely, though. Again, I'm with Keith. I just don't want them to give up, a ton of draft capital because in the past it hasn't been very good to this team. But no, I just want to thank everybody in the posse for always being supportive and being great. We're continuing to grow, and again, Keith, nailed it on the head. We do this for you guys, and hope you guys enjoy. And again, hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy this one against the Raiders because, again, every win's not easy, even though sometimes it looks like it's easy. But no, I just want to thank everybody for being great and for continuing to support us. And I hope everybody has a great week. Stay safe out there. And as always, go Broncos.
Paul's jumping in and saying, Kenny, I laughed so hard when Debbie Downer said it's official. I can't have children, laugh out loud. So a little reference maybe to Trevor being our Debbie Downer from time to time, maybe the realist. But no, I want to say, thank you to everybody in the posse this evening. Thank you to all our viewers, watchers, subscribers, those who would like to share out what we do every single episode, those who continue to support us. Man, I tell you what, love you guys, appreciate you guys a ton. For the judge, Jody Moncrief, who isn't here, the fourth horseman, thank you so much. Albert, Mile High Dutchie, who we can never get on the screen nearly enough. Albert, thank you so much for being a part of the Denver Bronco Roundup and Rocky Mountain Sports Network, and of course, Trevor as well. And always here, very reliable, the realist, keeps us all grounded in what the Denver Broncos are doing. Appreciate you so much. Fantastic in what you do. All of you all, thank you so much. As part of what we say as we get out of here. Thank you, by the way, Morgan Trinkets, our amazing sponsor, too.
Can I say one more thing?
Oh, yeah, go right ahead, Albert.
If the Broncos have faith that they're going to make the playoff, they're going to make some moves, big moves.
I like that. It's and I think Trevor's along that same lines. It's like, when do you have the faith? 4 games before the trade line, 3 games, 2 games, 1 game. When does that come in? Because I think we absolutely could have faith in this team in the way that they're going. Another win versus the Chargers. We'll be breaking that down on Friday, 7:30 Mountain Daylight Time. Don't want to miss that episode. That will be key. That will be key in order to continue to propel and think, what do we need? Where do we go? Are we buyers come the trade deadline? But like I said, for me, for you all in the posse, for sometimes Trevor in the way that he keeps us, keep your feet, keep those boots in the stirrups, right? Keeping yourself grounded. Keep those guns in your holsters, Broncos country, because you don't want to just go off shooting all over the place, man. Sometimes you need to think about what you say before you say it. And lastly, but not least, of course, keep the Denver Broncos in your heart. Until we see you next time, we're going to get out of here. Thank you all so much. Have a great night. Bye.